Book your driving lesson now
at dla-driving.co.uk.
Sponsored by DLA Driving Schools.
Hello and welcome to Oh When the Town. Let's have a think about what we've got to talk about. Lots to get through tonight as we reflect on the decision to part ways with Rob Edwards, which did make me a little bit sad, I've got to be honest. I really did want him to succeed. But more particularly, we're going to reflect on what Rob has done for this club and the legacy he leaves behind. I think that's important for us. Media reports are getting stronger and stronger as we are recording, and it looks extremely likely that we're going to be announcing Matt Bloomfield as our new manager, which will hopefully get us all back on board and back on track and push us forward for the rest of the season. So we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail. We have the other little matter of the FA Cup tie at Nottingham Forest, and we're, slightly better performance at the City Ground, I think. We'll talk about that. We've got 2 different 3-word reviews tonight, and we'll see if this pod might run a little bit longer than we normally do, and we'll see how it goes. With me this evening, if you're looking on YouTube, you've already seen them. We've got Bataro and Steve. Thanks for coming up, fellas.
Good evening.
Good
How
evening.
are we?
Yeah, lovely, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Thank you. You, Dave?
Yeah, I'm great. I just let's just start with the Rob thing. Let's just get straight into it. It's frustrating when things are going wrong, and we've been talking about it, and eventually the moment comes after Queen's Park Rangers. They agree mutual consent for him to leave. And me personally, quite sad. How did you two feel?
Exactly the same as that, to be honest with you. Even though I'm pretty sure it's Sky Sports said Rob Edwards sacked, so I immediately said no, he wasn't. Mutual consent. It is sad. I don't think that there was one single person that disliked him and wanted him to fail.
No, of course. That's it. It's true. I was the same, like I said. I haven't said to you boys, I haven't seen you since. So, but no, it was exactly the same for me as well. Quite upsetting. I wasn't shocked, but I was kind of surprised at the fact of he might have stayed a little bit longer after what he was saying last week about fighting on and keeping the team going and whatever else.
He did look a bit dishevelled though, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I think, and again, Gary Sweet says in his press interviews that there were things extra going on that he didn't cope very well with. I was quite surprised he said that, but apart...
I thought that was strange and maybe wasn't worthy of airing, to be honest with you.
No. So, look, we wish Rob all the best. His win record at our place, his win percentage was 30%, nearly 31% win percentage, but my God, he's left some memories, hasn't he?
Oh, yes. Well, one in particular, as we all know, but... Dave, go back to the 31% win percentage or whatever in his time as a manager. But in saying that, I think most of that deflated it was obviously in the Premier League, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I think was he on about 50-something% before that?
Yeah, I mean, look, but you only get what you thought we'd get in the Premier League. Let's be fair. We didn't expect to do any better than... Well, we would love to have stayed up.
It looks a lot worse than what it was, though.
Of course. And, the players haven't performed for him this season, but let's just think about his successes. Do you know what we did? We did ask you guys for a 3-word review on Rob's tenure, and what we got on these ones, there was loads of them, but we selected like 4 or 5. Mark said a great human being. Up the Luton said the 27th of May 2023. Craig, a class act. Debbie brought us sunshine, and Mike, glad it happened. I mean, that sort of sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for me, the success and the way we sort of fell for him was almost immediate. By the end of Nathan's second spell, I think we were fed up with the football. I think if we went 1-0 up, we were tending to hold it. It was quite a negative style of play. As you get with Nathan, there was a lot of the me, and then them when it wasn't working. And when his second sort of spell was coming to an end, I think pretty much majority of people were, that's job done, time's up. Yeah. And he came in, he was immediately humble, polite, and he just portrayed the club in such a good way. You know, it just elevated us. You know, people almost were, you know, whereas before you know, everyone seemed to hate us and that. You know, people were sort of prepared to sort of listen and have a look to see what was going on. But, you know, he just, his PR I thought was excellent for us.
Like Mark says, great human being. I mean, we've all met him a few times, haven't we? And yeah, like I say, what a lovely bloke.
Do you know, I have to tell you the first sentence I uttered to him when I met him, I won't tell you where it was, but it was at the club, and I was standing next to him. And it's quite...
I was there as well.
And I said to him, all right, Rob, please beat Watford.
Yeah.
That would have been my 3-word review of his please beat Watford. His 100% record against Watford, as I did point out on Three Counties Radio, if you didn't hear me on it. He's had some moments. Is there a highlight for you of his career? I mean, playoff aside, which was probably one of the biggest games. Well, no, not probably. Definitely the biggest game that a Luton manager's been in charge of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said it, didn't you? The Watford game. We beat them at home.
Twice.
Twice? Under Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you not been watching us recently?
Obviously, the 3-0 this season, and then with we Owl, yeah.
Yes.
There you go. So Bataro's back up to speed now.
There you go. It's been a long week.
Do you know what? For me, the biggest game, and I've watched it so many times since, was the Sunderland at home tie. That was the first time we'd won a playoff game in the league, and he just got everything on the pitch right. He got the players motivated, and you know the press and the whole evening, and the crowd were absolutely awesome as well. I think as an event, that was one of Luton's best evenings for a long time, because on the pitch and off the pitch, we were just too much for them, and that for me was really special, because without that total belief and dominance, we wouldn't have even had the Wembley day.
Unbelievable build up to that game. If I remember rightly, you know, the club released a really brilliant motivation video for us all to get on, and then, you know, Rob's on it, the players are on it, the crowd's on it, and he brought us to that. Don't forget, when he joined the club, we were 10th in that division. Now, a lot of people say he inherited Nathan's team, but he had to make sure that team pushed on and did the job.
Yeah, absolutely. And it did evolve. You know, what we were doing, it evolved, you know, sort of almost straight away. You know, unfortunately, little Al was a victim of the changes. But, you know, Nakamba was on fire at the time, and you can't say that he didn't do anything other than a fantastic job. I mean, I think that was Lockyer's finest period as a player as well. It must be in his career. That last 10, 11, 12 games of that season, including the playoff final, he was just a man mountain. You couldn't touch him. He was invincible. And I think coupled with that form and his natural leadership qualities, I think that made Rob Edwards' job a lot easier, because people were just feeding off it, and the momentum, which he would have been seriously involved in, just grew. Because he said almost straight away, didn't he, to the players, first training session, we are going to go up, we are going to do this. And they believed him and they bought into it. So, you know, it was just brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, the positivity he brought around the club, the smiles, everything. That's why we found it a bit strange, obviously, when he weren't smiling as much, and because we always had that positive vibe from him, and just everything about his attitude, like towards the players as well. I mean, you could tell the players wanted to play for him; they loved him. Like I say, this season hasn't really gone that way. I'm not too sure they didn't want to play for him. It's not the fact they didn't want to play for him, but maybe it was a confidence issue. But I think he was riding on he was riding on like a wave, wasn't he? It's almost like it clicked into place, and it was just a positive wave, was just carrying on and carrying on and carrying on. It was perfect. But yeah,
I genuinely don't understand how that changed so quickly, and how I understand how fans get frustrated, but we turned a bit quick, didn't we? Don't you think? And I think that really hurt him. Do you think that?
I don't know. I think all fans to a certain degree are a bit fickle. you know, to
Well,
be
well,
to,
we all are.
yeah,
massively.
yeah, you know, with all the clubs, it's not just, you know, we're so heavily emotionally and financially invested in our teams, and you know, and I think the support that they got during the Premier League season, I know there was the novelty factor, but we could still have got really fed up with the results and, you know, the late heartbreak. It would seem to be almost every other week it was a late one.
I can agree to a certain extent though, but it's the fact that if it had carried on like it did for the first sort of like 4 or 5 games of the season, then I can understand if, you know, fans start to get a bit frustrated. But the fact that we were actually putting in a shift after that and actually going for it, I would have been quite surprised if we turned.
I think it was just down to the performances sort of from the start of the season. It was just a shadow of what we'd been for a few years. No one could put their finger on it really, and I think it was just bewilderment, to be honest with you, because, you know, it wasn't the fans saying, "Oh, at least we're going to be winning loads."
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that was the sort of sounds coming out of the club. We expect to be back up there, so I think the fans sort of thought, right, this is the way it's going to be, and it just hasn't turned out. But as I said at the start, no one would have been disliking him and hoping that he failed.
Well, yeah, of course. This is the thing that's really upset me, right, boys. The fact of the matter is, I spoke to obviously a few people recently about Rob Edwards, and the first thing they say when they mention Luton Town is, "Oh, we're going to get rid of Rob Edwards yet." It's like, oh, fucking chill out a little bit. And the amount of disrespect that he got at the last home game, where we lost to
Norwich.
It was Norwich, wasn't it? Yeah. Lost to Norwich.
It was sort of 50-50, wasn't it, on the lap of honour? There was...
Well, you're behind the goal,
Yeah.
obviously, same as me. And I'll tell you, there was a few people behind me really, really pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. It was the fact they were telling him to fuck off, get out of the club, and that to me is disgraceful behaviour, because the fact that this guy's brought us to the Premier League, do you know what I mean? Okay, fine, he's not done a great job, and yes, it was time for him to move on in the end, but have some respect for this guy, man. This guy has done a great job for us.
I think the worst thing that I can do to show my disapproval to any sort of manager or poor teams is just silence.
Yeah,
So I can't boo, and I'm not saying to people don't boo. People do articulate these things in different ways, but to me, I'm just
Steve, it was the
silent.
abuse. I don't know if you heard it.
Oh, yeah,
Near me, behind me.
No, I didn't know.
Oh my word! Somebody abused. I mean, even there was a few fans in front of me, like a few of the gentlemen I was sitting next to as well. They were saying, like, "What are you doing?" There's people getting angry, shouting like foul mouth rants at Rob Edwards, and I thought, that is disgraceful. That is honestly disgusting.
Yeah, no one in their job, I think we've touched on this before, no one in their job deserves that sort of conversation towards them. If you don't like them, fine, just move on.
And to anyone who did honestly do that, and, you know, throw a massive amount of abuse at Rob Edwards and swear at him or whatever he did, if you did that, then you're a disgrace. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't care.
No, I'm not defending that at all. No one deserves that. When you think about Rob, then, what would you say his legacy is for us?
Well, financially, the ground.
Exactly. You know, without him, we didn't get there. We don't get the ground.
The season of us being able to watch someone magical like Ross Barkley.
Okay.
So they're two things that I would immediately associate with him.
And Batari? Well, a bit of silence there. That's not very good for a podcast, is it? Let's be fair.
I mean, I don't really want to sit here and just, you know, randomly say a couple of things. I'll have to think about it, but yeah, I'll come back to you on that one.
Okay. Well, for me...
It's definitely something nice.
Well, for me, obviously the playoff final, beyond belief, unreal. The semi-finals, unbelievable. But to get into the Premier League and do what we did in the way that we did it, I know we didn't stay up, but you know what? There were times where we were so connected with Rob and the team, it was unreal. Chelsea, you know, singing at Chelsea, and you know, it was loud. And the last game at West Ham, when West Ham away, not the last game, obviously. Yeah. And we just stood there, and he stood there just taking it. And you could see he was gutted, but he was overwhelmed with how he was being respected that day. And those are the sort of things that are living, you know, 1-0 up at Liverpool. Yeah. The Newcastle game. All of those, for me,
yeah,
are
I mean,
highlights.
that was one of the games of the season in the Premier League, the Newcastle game, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not saying another manager couldn't have done it.
No.
But he did it.
Yeah.
And he's the first ever Luton Town manager to manage us in the
Of
Premier
course.
League. So his name,
And that'll be the first thing everyone remembers him for is the Premier League.
and so for that, does he get that status of almost a legend at Luton Town?
Almost, yeah.
Or almost a legend. You
Yeah.
take that. He's welcome back at any point, right?
Oh, yeah, massively. Similar to John Still. You know, John Still took us back into the league, which was such a such a weight on our backs. You know, so he done that. So forever grateful. You know, and he spends a lot of time at the club. And yeah, in the same vein, that season in the Premier League because of him. Yeah.
We did ask you guys very briefly. I know it was a very quick one for us because, we didn't know how we were going to approach this. But we asked you guys, what's been your favourite part of Rob's reign? Sue says, and agrees with Steve, Sunderland at home, the wall of sound from the main stand went through me. And I don't think I've ever heard Kenilworth Road louder, ever. It was such a brilliant night, wasn't it?
Very, very quickly, just on that, I remember a Hull City fan done a tweet, and I think it was like coming towards halfway through the second half, and he said, every single Luton fan is on it. He goes, and I love it. And
It was beautiful.
It was complete unity, wasn't it?
It was beautiful. Stephen said, the playoff final will live with me forever, with my son who endured all of a non-league with me, and my grandson being parts of it too. One of the best days of my life. And obviously that's, goes for everybody, doesn't it? Cameron, the way he handled the Lotka situation, which makes losing him all the more sad for me. And Gary said, the obvious moments, plus Rob the human being, the way he handled Tom's situation, his kind persona, losing his voice for the first match of the day, as well as losing his voice when he was singing. That was at the parade, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was all so feel good. And when it was good, it was great. A real sense of community. Such a shame it ended in the way it did. I don't think we can disagree with that, can we?
Of course.
No, that sums it up.
So, as we're recording, and do you know what? Firstly, thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you.
And let's hope that sometime soon you're back in the job and
It would just be good to see him
Yeah.
looking really, really well again.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
he hasn't looked well for a long time.
But I'll end that segment with just thank you, Rob. Nottingham Forest fans, if you tuned in, it'll be at the end of this podcast, just so that you know. So as we're recording, Matt Bloomfield, it looks like it's definitely going to be him at Kenilworth Road. How do we feel about that appointment? Because did we want the experience of a Steve Cooper, whatever I just said, or did we want? Is Matt Bloomfield a risk because he's fresh and new?
Oh, I mean, of course, it's always going to be a risk, isn't it? I mean, I believe Wickham was his first job, is it?
First full season.
yeah.
Was it?
He was at Colchester before.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Briefly.
So, yeah, looking at the job he's doing at Wickham, okay, yeah, completely different situation, but from our point of view, I don't think it's that risky. I mean, he's not going to be on too much as like financial packages and all that sort of stuff. I couldn't imagine, sorry.
I read somewhere there was a release clause,
100,000, was it?
100k.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
No.
And the thing is, we've always, well, not always, but in recent past years, we've always gone for young coaches who are hungry to impress. So I think it's a good thing for us. And also from his point of view, he's not going to turn an opportunity, is he? Let's face it. A lot of people are saying, why would he leave Wickham, who are fighting to win League One? I'm thinking, no offence, but if you've got the chance to go to Luton Town and do a great job there, you then progress your career even further.
Are Wickham Wanderers, they've got a billionaire owner, haven't they? So, maybe they're looking in a different direction. Maybe they're quite happy that we've come and taken their manager.
Maybe. That may be. I think whoever you employ is a risk. There are no guarantees. I personally felt, and again, just my personal view, that it might need a more experienced person just at this stage.
In the situation
because you
we're in,
can't say that we're not in a precarious position coupled with our form. You have to accept that. Now, again, a caveat. I totally understand that people may be well out of our financial budgets, or they might not be remotely interested. I don't think Steve Cooper was ever going to be a consideration, because I think he would want a massive wage. He would want a big squad of coaches with him, and he would also want a transfer budget that we just wouldn't give him. So I don't think he was ever going to be sort of really entertained as a prospect. Again, the caveat I came up with earlier, Sean Dyche, it might be that he wanted a big wage, etc., but I think he would have the attributes for the relegation side of things, because he's done it with Everton. He's been there with Burnley as well. Sometimes he succeeded, sometimes he didn't. But then moving forwards, if it would have been him, then he's proved that he can sort of get a team out of the Championship. But again, he only left Everton 4 or 5 days ago. He might not be remotely interested. He might think that he's well above Luton, etc. But I was thinking it might be one at the moment for
more experience.
More experience.
I go with that. On the Sean Dyche thing, when he didn't have a job and he was offered several, or talked of several EFL jobs, he came out and said, no, I know I can do it in the Premier League. Okay. Which that's at the moment enough, he currently can't. So, he talked us up. When we talk about Matt Bloomfield, though, you talk about the position we're in. When he took over at Colchester, they were 1 point from the relegation zone, and they ended it safe, some 13 points above it. At Wycombe, his win ratio at Wycombe is phenomenal. It's really, really good.
And you think there's some big clubs financially that they're pitting themselves against? I mean, you haven't seen that Wycombe, they might have a very, very wealthy owner, but they haven't been sort of throwing any money about, because otherwise it would have been noted, wouldn't it? It would have been in the public arena. So I think what we just need clarity. We need very simple, straightforward, basic principles, and picking the right people in the right positions. And then we need to change around our injury situation, because we've had a crisis on and off for 2 or 3 years now, and it's a bit of a shambles, or someone's run over a cat somewhere at some point.
Does his appointment, pending appointment, according to the media, obviously, does that excite you going forward?
Sorry, I don't know enough about him, but crack on.
Well, like I say, I don't know too much about him. He's a former player. But no, I've watched Wycombe a couple of times this season. They turned over Portsmouth the other day as well in the Cup. Yeah. Yeah, statistically as well, they look pretty good going forward. So I'm happy. It's a positive move, I think. I'm quite excited for it. I like young managers. Sounds really weird. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that he's a young manager and he wants to succeed and do well.
There's an article.
It's clear by his attitude as well. So yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. We'll get Jacob to tag it somewhere. There's an article in the thing called The Coach's Voice that he wrote in November 24. I just taken some lines out of it, and I just want to read them out to you if that's okay. He says, I see coaches as an art form. I want to master it. Sometimes it's raw, sometimes it's technical. I love it. I live and I breathe the challenge of preparing for an opponent. I want teams to think about options to stretch their minds. And then he goes on to say, I want my teams to play fast, convincing football and not have possession for possession's sake. I want to know why we are moving the ball around the pitch. What's its purpose? And he goes on further to say, if someone moves to play in a different position, then everyone else has to understand where and when they need to move. And that's what we've lacked this season, haven't we?
Yes.
If he can get that philosophy over in a very clear, straightforward manner, because again, you wonder if sometimes when the players are in bad form and we're having the run that we've been on, whether their heads become a little bit frazzled. If he can get that philosophy over in clear, straightforward principles and ideas, then you've got to say that it is exciting. It is similar to Nathan, first time he came,
maybe.
That's right. But I think it was when Nathan came first time, it was quite a change from what John Still was offering us. It was something different, but immediately people bought into it. and there was almost like a unified aggression sort of just built really quite quickly. From what from those words, if he can get that across, and he wants to know there's got to be a reason and a purpose to everything, then that is great. That sounds good.
He fits us, doesn't he, Vatari? He fits our agenda.
Well, of course, like I say, young manager, eager to impress. And like you say, if you do watch Wickham, they have moved the ball very well. They like to get down the channels, move the ball, get out wide. That's something I think, like you say, we were used to in the past.
I was going to say, you wouldn't have said that about Wickham in the past. That
you were a hoofball team, weren't they?
Exactly. And, known for game delaying and all that.
Yeah.
But they've not been like that recently.
They've changed it completely. Like I said, I don't know if you gents have watched Wickham this season.
No.
Or seen any highlights. They look good.
Okay.
Well, obviously, you know a Wickham fan. We all know a Wickham fan.
Well, actually, I did ask him. I did ask Sam what he felt about Bloomfield, and he went, it took him a while to settle in, but now he's got everybody firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that
we
time.
haven't got that settling in time.
But
do you think this is why, if the report's true, do you think this is why the club have gone so quickly to name their man? So
have to.
Let's say we're recording this Monday night. Let's say he's announced tomorrow, Tuesday morning. He's got the majority of the week to sort of bed himself in.
Yeah, Steve, it has to happen. And don't forget, we've got some really... we say this every bloody week, because I'm going to say we've got some really winnable fixtures that he needs to win. These home games come, and disappointing for me that the Plymouth game's got to be rearranged because of the FA Cup.
Yeah,
but he's got to go and he's got to hit the ground running.
So, a quick question for you then, Dave, if I may. Let's say this coming week, because I doubt that we're going to have time to bring in coaches. Is he going to have help from Mick Harford? Is he going to have help from Trollope and Co? And again, it's only an opinion of mine. I would have said that he brings his current team with him. You think that would be almost immediate as well?
100%, yeah, 100%. They'll all come, and Wickham are probably already looking to replace him with some foreign manager because they've got a billionaire owner who can pay what he wants.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is as well, we've done it early as well in January, which means we've still got the rest of the transfer window.
Well, the transfer
business.
I would say the transfer window would happen regardless of what manager's in place, because we've got the recruitment team out there looking.
But you say that then, but it's then the player as well. Does the player want to join if there's no manager in place and it doesn't structure how they play? This is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, I'll go with that.
This is why I was very surprised about Asai Jones. Don't get it wrong, great signing by the way. Well, I think so anyway. But that's why I was very surprised that he got over the line with him, because I was thinking to myself, I knew he was in place, reading a lot of reports and whatever else. And then all of a sudden, Rob Edwards goes, and you think, Christ, is it going to get over the line? And it did 2 days later or whatever. So fair play.
Yeah.
And he was quite, actually, if you saw his interview, he's quite excited to be at Luton, and he understands Luton, and I think that's great. And I think, we need to get back that togetherness that we've lost.
I think Amari's been talking to him on international duty, hasn't he?
I love that question.
Yeah.
How did you know? How when you get on with Amari, he goes, when I got him sent off.
Yeah.
He knew exactly. We all knew on that day exactly what he was doing. He knew that if he rolled around, Amari would get a second yellow and he'd go. And now he plays for Luton. Keep it up. That's all I can say. So we're going to be hopeful that Matt Bloomfield's announced soon. Tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Tuesday as we're recording. And then
it gives us the week, doesn't it?
A whole new chapter begins, and it's time now to stop all the infighting and get behind the team and get behind the manager. And
maybe you'll give Joe Taylor a game. Damn.
He's gone. Hey, listen, Joe Taylor going to Huddersfield is no surprise.
No, absolutely not. And, if the fees that are reported in the media...
3 million, is it?
Then you've got to say that's good money.
Good business.
And probably a good move for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, a good win all round.
He wanted to go last transfer window to Huddersfield. It didn't happen. I don't know why it didn't happen. So he's been caught in that for 12 months. So good luck to Joe. I hope he does well.
Yeah.
And all those people that said he was the best player that hasn't played for us, I hope you prove right. I hope Joe plays really well for Huddersfield, but not against us ever.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to say. Look, if you've tuned in again to listen to our Nottingham Forest, we're just going to have a chat about the FA Cup. We might as well do that. I'm excited about Matt Bloomfield, by the way. I genuinely hope when he comes in, we have that little push on, and we're ready, and we win his first game.
I want to see some intensity, and I want to see some drive. You give as soon as if they start the first 5 or 10 minutes on the front foot going at them, they've immediately got the crowd back. Immediately.
Well, talking about that, then let's talk about briefly about the trip to Nottingham Forest on a very, I got to be telling you, super cold day. I didn't realise I had feet at the end of it. It was that bloody cold on the terrace. And also quite enjoyed the automatic beer dispenser.
Yes.
But, you know, I had nothing much else to do apart from watch the football. And, FA Cup, Premier League, we were there last season. We really gave them a great game last season. This encounter was a little bit different.
Very strong lineup.
I thought we did okay. I thought we played okay.
Well, look better than usual, didn't we?
Yeah, but I was just surprised at our starting lineup. It was very strong, wasn't it?
I mean,
look,
I'm not. I won't say I'm really surprised. I was expecting a strong lineup, maybe a couple of changes.
I was half expecting Krul to go in goal.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Krul, but then saying that, maybe like Hashioka, maybe or someone like that. But I don't know. I don't think you could. Because the thing is, you put out a weakened team. For all due respect, we could get absolutely pumped.
Well, Forest made loads of changes, but they still, you're making those changes and you've got Ward Prowse playing for you because he doesn't really, you got to sit there and go, yeah, they've got crap loads of money behind them, haven't they?
Yeah.
However, having said that, it went better than I expected. And I say that. Let's go traditional now. Your 3-word reviews on Nottingham Forest 2, Luton Town 0 in the FA Cup. Joel says, went as expected. Jack, could have been worse. That is still 3 words, could have. Muriel, same old mistakes. Ashley, no cutting edge. Connor, signs of positivity. Pete, better than normal. Rob, build on that. Wouldn't that be great if that was a proper Rob? Dom says, final third concerns. Jez, much better formation. Nigel and many others. League, more important. Can you pick one, take one, and deal with it as much as you want to?
I'll go with Dom, final third concerns. I think we have had a better formation the last couple of games, and from that we've seen a few sort of better opportunities, but the final third is a concern. Another good effort from Walsh though. Again, I thought he was one of the few players that went to the ball to receive the ball. He was always there. He was always looking for it. I think you'll see the best out of him if we had a striker that was a channel runner. And, Colton and Elijah aren't that type of striker. So I think he's limited about the key passes that he can make. But, I really like the way that he played. He had a really good shot. But, yeah, he's there to receive the ball and move it on. So it's another good performance as far as I'm concerned in his rehabilitation.
Have you got one, Bataru?
I'm going to go with Connor's signs of positivity because the main thing that stands out for me is the fact we had more possession and we had 6 shots on target. I think thinking maybe 1 month we've not had 6 shots on target.
Out of 8 shots, 6 of them were on target. That's not a bad percentage.
That's pretty impressive.
When you quote stats, obviously you can quote them to your own benefit. But
XG 2.21 as well. But I don't believe in XG. You know that.
I know.
I
was about to say, Bataru, I know you don't believe in XG. But, Nottingham Forest one was 0.71 and ours was 2.21. Having said that, I did meet up with Dave, you're going to get another mention, Dave Asprey, and we chatted before the game about what we expected. And I said, I don't expect anything more than a Luton Town defeat because you're Premier League and you're on fire, you're third in division. And actually, he texted me during the game and said, actually, Luton are playing all right here. Are doing all right. And my response to that was Nottingham Forest were clinical when they needed to be.
Yeah, that's it. But that's where the extra quality comes into, isn't it? So, yeah.
So we have a brief chat about the game. I thought it went okay. I felt, like we said, we had our chances. We just couldn't take them. And I felt defensive-wise we looked stronger. And is that because they had a point to prove after Robert left, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know about... I've never sort of been 100% on this, there's a point to prove. You know, all the players would have really liked Rob. So if they wanted to prove a point, then surely they were trying to do it sort of during his tenure. So I don't sort of buy into that. I just think, you know, maybe it was a game off from the grind of the championship, and maybe they played with a bit more freedom and a bit more of a clear head, because it was like a one-off. And it doesn't matter hugely if we lose.
It was a definite free hit, wasn't it, Batari?
I mean, look, I always look at cup games as a free hit anyway. I mean, if you're trying to compete in the league, or well, currently for us trying to stay up, but I mean, like I think like Steve was getting at a second ago, I think like it's a pressure thing. It's like obviously Rob's gone now. I feel like the pressure's off. There's no more stress on, if we don't perform today, he could get the boot, or he could go, something like that. Because I think that would have played a part on the players' minds.
It's been hanging around all of them for a couple of months now.
It's like a bad smell around the whole place. It's like, we know since...
For the benefit of Spotify listeners, they've just both pointed at me.
Well, I actually just looked at you, to be fair, but I know what Steve was going to say. But yeah, but no, look, I mean... There was an air of negativity around the whole place, wasn't there? And, you know, this lurking doom as such, like the fact of the matter. And, yeah, and Rob Edwards, like, you know, the negativity surrounding him, the pressure, the players were clearly feeling it as well. Clearly Saturday, they weren't feeling it.
Could I just say at this point, if you're going to pull the fans together and get that positivity going, the best thing you can do is put Mick Harford on the sideline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just
that's probably why they run about a bit more.
Yeah, my God.
Yeah, I mean, the reception for him was brilliant, and I loved it. Forrest obviously had the first chance. Do you know what? I have to be fair. Generally can't remember it. But they had the first chance. But then you get Walsh, and Walsh had a really good strike from the outside of the box. I mean, it's a really good move.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
comfortable for the keeper in the end, but yeah.
Well, you say comfortable, but from where I was standing,
the ball did move a little bit.
It moved loads.
But if you watch it from a straight angle, it does go pretty much central to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the keeper would have been strung up if that had gone in. However, it was a good shot. It was on target, and again, it's just part of his improved performances.
Just to let you know, their keeper is 6'8". He's huge. It's almost like his head's touching the bloody crossbar at times.
What's his name? Miguel.
It was crazy. Yeah, Miguel. He was huge, and you know it would have taken a lot to put the ball in there. Forest were in. Can we say in control? I don't know if in control of the game is the right word to say. Forest were very strong with the ball, and they worked it very well. And I don't think Forest fans ever thought that we were going to score. That's how I would look at it. And you know, going forward, Yates, he had a massive drive. He hit the crossbar and it really pinged it, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, should have Nakamba shut him down a bit quicker? The ball went a bit loose, and I'm thinking, get in there, put your foot in.
He was certainly going to try and shut him down. He just seemed a bit slow. Just seemed a bit sluggish, to be honest with you. I don't know. He's not the Nakamba of that final sort of 10 games in the Championship that I've referred to on numerous occasions. He seems to be a little bit of a shadow of that player who was on top of his game then.
Are we disappointed with the way we conceded, Batara, do you think?
Oh, we're always going to be disappointed in the way we concede. I'm trying to think what the first goal was now. Was it the cross?
The cross with the header. And I have to ask, and I don't want to be negative, but maybe it comes across a bit negative. I have to question where McGuinness was, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because Holmes was behind him and Holmes was marking someone. So surely, you know, it was shaping up quite obviously that a cross was coming in. Surely your two centre halves have got to be goal side of people, haven't they?
The frustrating thing was it was 40 minutes. Yates, look, take nothing away from Nottingham Forest at this point. Yates moved to the ball, he got to the ball, and from when I was standing on the terrace, it looked like it was a free head. But he manipulated that, in my view. But it's a shocking time to concede in that game.
It is. This is something we need to get back to as a defensive outfit. We've got to be attacking the ball as defenders. It just seems to be all the time that the attackers are coming on and attacking the ball, and we're almost at a standing position. You know, we need to be attacking that ball just as aggressively from a defensive point of view.
Agreed. Yeah.
Second half comes along. I think we start very positive. I think we've got more of the ball. We're moving the ball well. We're passing well. We're being more front-footed. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously...
Good run from Isaiah Jones, wasn't there?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I mean, unreal. There you go.
That was...
Cut in from the right, didn't he?
First half, I think that was.
Yeah, it was,
we're glad you said that because... Isaiah,
weaving between about 4 or 5 players, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And do you know what? The option there would have been a little pass to his left.
Yeah.
But, you know, if he'd have scored, he'd been a hero, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that they did. I mean, really fast feet to get past 2 or 3 players, and I think they just shut him down. I don't think there's anything he could have done. He tried to shoot, but, you know, really, yeah, if he could have laid it off. But, again, I like the intent. I like the way that he drove at the defenders and just sort of went into the heart of it.
And that's what we're going to get from Izzy Jones as well. Like pure drive and positivity. Can I just little thing on him as well? What we were saying every week in the podcast. We were saying we've got no pace. Mm. We now have a little bit more pace. Yeah. Because this guy's rapid. Mm-hmm. Thank God we've got to play with pace.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely great. Equally as important is end product, though.
Yeah, we'll come.
Yeah, I hope so. If he can deliver, and you know whether it be crosses or key passes in or shooting, then that is absolutely great. You're right about the pace, much needed pace, and that's good. He's got to really demand the ball, and I really want to see quality in the final third from him because I think, again, if you've got some quality in the final third, hopefully Alfie will be back soon. If we've then got sort of something coming in from both flanks, hopefully Carlton and Elijah can start to get some much needed service.
We talk about Nottingham Forest being clinical. They had a big break. It just happened. It's so quick movement, ball down the right, ball across, tap in.
Yeah.
We've missed that, haven't we? You know, that's a good goal from Nottingham Forest there.
Yeah, but yet again, he gets in front of his man, doesn't he?
He gets in front of his man, but you can't. Sometimes, surely, you have to say if you're going to lose. We've said it over and over and over and over.
Sometimes it's a little bit easy though. It is a little bit easy when the ball goes bang, bang, 2, 3 passes, and it's like it's straight in.
But what we can do is maybe give their striker some praise, and right at the start of that run,
nah, Steve, I'm not giving anyone praise.
Right at the start of that run, he was ahead of us.
All the time.
And he made damn sure that no one was
going to get in front of him.
Oh, that
is what we've missed. That's right. What we've missed.
Yeah, an absolute determination to be making that run and being the first one on the end of it.
But that's the difference in levels, isn't it? Again.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. But you know, again, it's not something that we're not capable of doing. Mm-hmm. You know, it's all there. It's just a matter of the new manager sort of getting it out of them.
When your luck's down, right? So if the ball's, we said this the other day, Steve, when the ball's pinging around in that 6-yard box and there's no one to put their head on it, the cross for that I think Holmes got hold of, and it, you know, just turn your head a little bit different. It goes in the right corner. Yep. It pings across the goal. No one gets to it. It gets cleared. Surely our luck's due to change, isn't it?
It is. It is. That normally comes as a result of making brave runs into certain areas in the box and that. But I'm sure it will come. You know, there's no doubting that everyone wants to achieve. I mean, Carlton had a good header as well.
Carlton's header.
You know, it was.
He couldn't have done any more.
Yeah,
right?
It was a fairly comfortable save, but you know, he attacked the near post. He managed to get ahead of the guy, and he got ahead on it. You know, again, it's that level of determination that we're going to need in abundance.
So we get knocked out of the FA Cup at City Ground. Personally, I had a nice day out, so that was good fun.
As long as you enjoyed yourself, Dave, that's what matters.
It does matter. It does matter.
It's all that matters.
And you know, I met up with some people, and I've already mentioned his name. So David, he'll go to your head again if I say it again, so I won't. I've just said it. Yeah, I had a great day out, and coming home, and on the cup draw. Did you want to go to Exeter? No.
I don't know. It was a good day out last time we went there. Or night out, should I say. Very interesting.
we're not worried about the FA Cup now, are we? We've
No.
got to concentrate on the league, haven't we?
Yeah.
Let's just.
I know it's a cliche, Dave, but it's absolutely right, and it is.
we're never going to win the FA Cup. Still.
No, it's absolutely vital that, you know, if we can have a good second half to the season and finish comfortably mid-table,
Yeah.
that means that we've shown sort of good form and we're getting results, etc.
Something to build on as
and
well.
that's really something to take into next season, because, you know, I do feel that a losing mentality had crept in, and then countless other things, you know, like people being injured or people maybe not being on the same page and all these things. I think with that losing mentality that did creep in, that's what's it has been a hangover. If we can start to arrest that slide and turn it around and maybe finish comfortably, then we can really sort of build some momentum for next season.
Lovely. We did ask you guys a couple of questions, but we're going to deal with one of them, which is Forest was a free hit. How do you think the players reacted? Reece said the performance was definitely the best we've played away all season. Consider it was a free hit. Andy said, I thought we played well and improved the away performance, but saying that, we're looking blunt up front. James, players did okay on Saturday, but now with the FA Cup exit, all focus now shifts to survival and championship and building momentum for next season. Steve's already cheering that. Frosty, actually, Frosty says about, he says we need a manager with championship experience, but I think we've got Matt Bloomfield, so, you know, sorry, Frosty, you have to go with it. Chris says performance versus Forest had its positives, far from perfect, and a million miles off how we were less than a year ago, which I totally agree with.
Yeah.
There are some Nottingham Forest fans after the game that spoke to me and said, what's happened to your team?
Well, we've had that numerous times this season.
But genuinely, I just couldn't be bothered to answer him, if I'm honest. But signs of improvement from the last 2 weeks. And Lee says, what does he say? Actually, Lee wanted a more permanent. He wanted someone with a little bit more experience. But Lee, I'm afraid to say, it's looking like.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say, actually, it's looking like Matt Bloomfield is going to be confirmed.
Yeah.
So we need to get behind the team and the squad right now, don't we?
I think he's perfectly okay to have that view. I mean, that's why I was saying earlier on about someone like Dyche and that, you know, you would feel safer in those hands. There's no doubt that this is a gamble.
Would we, though?
Well, no, this is what we said. Everyone is going to be a gamble of some sorts. You know, we just hope that he has the same sort of impact that Nathan Jones Mark 1 did, and everyone buys into his philosophy, and we go from there.
At the end of the day, Nottingham Forest fans, if you're listening or you're watching this, you would sit there and go, well, we deserve to win. And I can't disagree with that. I think we were better than we've been, but we weren't overly impressive. We've been better than we've been, but not overly impressive.
Yeah.
The fact is that Luton Town weren't going to win the FA Cup. Nottingham Forest on their current form, I hope they have a good run now. I hope they get well up there, you know, and just someone different to win something would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of, we dragged on a bit there, boys.
Yeah, but only by a few minutes, and there was a lot to talk about.
Well, there is that. A couple of hellos.
Thank goodness Darryl wasn't here.
Oh, do you know Mr.
The prophet of doom.
Oh, God. Oh, actually, we should do the... oh, crikey, what's our next game?
Preston.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's have your score reviews on that one, boys.
3-0 win.
3-0. Oh, bastard.
He says it with his teeth going.
I said that was the first.
Write them down then.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
What did Jacob go for? Did he go? Yeah, Jacob went for 1-1.
Jacob, you're sacked.
And obviously, we'll just wait to hear from.
Yeah, we'll
Darren.
wait to hear from Darren.
Apparently, I got a correct score the other day.
Yeah, we
didn't like to talk about it though.
Yeah, gone to the top of the
It's not top though,
Well,
Yeah.
I generally do think we're going to get new manager bounce.
Yep.
And I predicted 3-0 every game this bloody season. So
So change it.
I'll go for
3-0.
4-1.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
It's 3-0 now.
Well, I've only done that because you took the 3-0.
Sauce, Dave.
You watch it coming now as well, 3-0.
Yeah, I'll just be gutted. Well, I won't be gutted because we won 3-0.
Yeah.
Just a couple of hellos. I don't know if I've done a couple of these last time, but I want to say hello to Mickey from Margate Football Club. He had a chat with me. Luigi, I bumped into at the football club in, I think it was the home game to Norwich. And he did remind me that he'd won Come Dine With Me.
Okay.
In 2010.
There you go. And
Excellent.
claim to fame, that, isn't it?
And the thing is, if he's on social media, can he tell us the episode? Because I do watch a bit of Come Dine.
Well,
With Me.
he's Come Dine With Me from Dunstable in 2010. And
Yeah, but I've got to know if it's on the Channel 4 or whatever yet.
It's on there. I don't know what episode. I'm sure he'll tell us on socials. But the one thing I do remember is, and I want to get this image out of my head, that he did have a one of those where they got in the hot tub at the end.
Oh, no.
Exactly. And finally, just a hello to Dale and Lewis Williams, who had a quick chat with me at Forest. It's been a long one tonight. Thanks for listening. If you've got to this end of this one, thanks for staying with us. It's been a big week for Luton Town, and it's a few more weeks now that hopefully we push on and get better.
Let's hope we have a big window.
Let's hope we have a fantastic window. There's more to come.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got Isaiah Jones. There's more to come. Let's hope it turns our season around. If you got this far, thank you for saying. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, flick over to the YouTube channel and give us a like. That would be fantastic. We'll be back after the weekend and hopefully celebrating a win against Preston. Take care. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all again next week.
Thank you, everyone.
See you soon.